So at this point, Tic Tac Toe is something I am fairly known for, and something I put a lot of time in. But something I've never seen done before is bringing Tic Tac Toe to the third dimension. So what I have created here is a version of Tic Tac Toe, but on a 3 by 3 by 3 grid. So, that's what this is. It might not look like my other versions of Tic Tac Toe, but that's because it works differently. Instead of having screens, it has blocks. So, I'm just going to pick out a move, and press my button, set the coordinates, and press the go button. So now this thing should be starting to work, and I picked a place in the direct middle. This entire thing is rather large, and it, was quite intricate to design. But what I have here is something that can, play tic-tac-toe on a 3x3 grid. And it has a bunch of quality of life features. It has an easy way to clear the board. It automatically switches the turns. And it is basically foolproof and cannot be broken. So, what it's doing right now is it is cycling through, and our turn is almost done. Now how this works is each of these buttons controls, oh my gosh, that's loud. Okay. There, it's done now. Each of these buttons controls one of the, dimensions. We have the X, the Y, and the Z. And if I go around, I can show the different circuits. So this right here controls the X. Depending on the signal strength, it'll have different lines permanently turned off. So it's like a piston extender that can go 1, 2, or 3 blocks depending on how many lines it's allowed to do. It does the same thing for the Z axis. So this X is controlled by these pistons. Z is controlled by those pistons. And then the Y, the vertical axis, is controlled by this thing right over here. Right here. So this controls if it's the first block, second block, or third block that gets replaced. I'm going to do a next move. I'm going to go in the corner. So I should have picked this block right here. Yeah. Oh my, that's loud. So what it's doing is it's pushing the block up from the bottom, pushing it across, pushing it into this block, and then from there just push it down. And then push back into the bottom. But this next one is the piece I want, so it should try and swap it to the next glowstone block. So it'll cycle the blocks through. It'll check if that's the correct one, then it'll cycle if that's glowstone. It'll then push it down, bring it down here, and then boom, that's its turn. The reason there's a daylight sensor here is so it can determine if it's black hole glowstone or it can determine if it's glass or not. And the reason why this thing keeps going out is because it can determine if it's black wool or not. And using that, we can determine exactly which block it is using just that device. So this is something that has never been done before, and which makes me the first person to make 3D tic-tac-toe in Minecraft as far as I'm aware. I really looked So yeah, determines this determines if it's looking for glass, wool, or glowstone. And using this, it can then either cycle more or send the signal down. This is actually my second version. The first one's over here. It's larger, slower, and it doesn't look as good. But it has the same piston feed tape. It has the... Oh, this actually gets a better look at it. You know? This was, just testing things out. But... this one also works flawlessly. Yeah. It's just way slower. Because this was just for testing purposes. Doesn't always work perfectly as well. Which is why version 2 is much better. Is it done already? Dang. That's crazy. So I actually submitted this for like a small redstone competition that was set up by, I think his name is Barber Bake. But I ended up winning that competition first place when I submitted this thing. It's not very difficult to see why. So after, this finishes, I can try clearing the board. So clearing the board is just a flick of this lever, and then, coordinates and whatnot, but yeah. Is this one finished yet? Oh no. It's halfway done. Yeah, this one's outspeeds it. It takes about 40 seconds for it to move, I assume. But yeah. All very cool. Now I think I'm just going to shut up and get a nice cinematic shot of this thing in action. I'm gonna... Where should I go? Ah, right. Nope. Yeah. Duh.